Have you ever stopped what you were doing and watched a bird bathing in a bird bath? Not just glanced at it for a second, but really watched. A robin lands at the edge of the water. It hesitates for a moment. Then suddenly it jumps in, flapping wildly, splashing water in every direction. Its wings beat against the surface. Droplets fly through the air. The whole scene looks chaotic. A few moments later, the bird hops out. It flies to a nearby branch. And then it sits there, quietly, running its beak through every feather on its body. Most people think they know what's happening. The bird is taking a bath, just like we do, getting clean, washing off dirt, freshening up before continuing its day. It seems obvious, but what if that explanation is completely wrong? What if everything you've assumed about bird bathing misses the real story? Because the truth is far more fascinating. That bird isn't simply cleaning itself. It's performing one of the most important survival routines of its entire life. A routine so critical that without it, the bird would struggle to fly, stay warm, avoid predators, and even survive harsh weather. And perhaps most surprisingly of all, the most dangerous moment in a bird's day may be the moment it steps into the water. Before we uncover why, make sure to subscribe to Backyard Bird Mysteries and join us as we reveal the hidden lives of the birds visiting your yard. Because once you understand what you're about to learn, you'll never look at a bird bath the same way again. The story begins with feathers. To us, feathers look simple, soft, light, beautiful. But a feather is actually one of the most sophisticated structures found in nature. Look closely at a feather, and you'll see a central shaft running through the middle. Branching out from that shaft are hundreds of tiny structures called barbs. Attached to those barbs are even smaller structures called barbules. These barbules act like microscopic hooks. They lock together with incredible precision. When millions of these tiny hooks connect properly, the feather forms a smooth, continuous surface. That smooth surface is essential. It allows air to flow correctly over a wing. It traps warm air close to the bird's body. It sheds rain. It provides insulation. It creates lift. In short, it allows a bird to be a bird, but there's a problem. Every single day damages that delicate structure. Imagine a cardinal squeezing through dense bushes, a sparrow fighting for space at a feeder, a chickadee entering a narrow nesting cavity. Every contact bends, twists, and separates those microscopic feather connections. Over time, feathers become less efficient, tiny gaps appear. The smooth surface begins to break down, and when that happens, the consequences can be serious. A bird may lose heat faster during cold nights. Flight becomes slightly less efficient. Water resistance decreases. The bird must spend more energy simply staying alive. This is where bathing becomes essential. Water softens feather structures. It loosens old oils and debris. It helps prepare the feathers for repair. The bird isn't washing dirt away. It's preparing its feathers for maintenance. Think of it less like a shower and more like servicing an aircraft. The water is only the beginning. The real work happens afterward. But before we get there, there's something else most people never realize. Bathing is dangerous, extremely dangerous. Imagine being a small songbird. Everything wants to eat you. Hawks, cats, snakes, even larger birds. Your survival depends on speed. Every second matters. Every movement counts. Now imagine voluntarily making yourself slower. That's exactly what happens during a bath. When feathers become soaked, they become heavier. Wing performance decreases. Takeoffs require more effort. Flight reactions slow down. For a brief period, the bird becomes vulnerable. A predator that normally wouldn't stand a chance suddenly has an opportunity. That's why birds never relax during a bath. Watch carefully next time. Notice how often they stop splashing. They raise their heads. They scan their surroundings. Again and again, they're not being paranoid, they're staying alive. Every splash is a calculated risk. Every second in the water is a trade-off between maintenance and safety. And the danger doesn't end when the bird leaves the bath. In many ways, the most vulnerable moment comes afterward. The bird lands nearby. Its feathers are damp. Its attention is focused on repair. Instead of watching the sky constantly, it's concentrating on feather maintenance. Predators know this. A bird occupied with grooming is easier to surprise than a bird fully alert and ready for flight. That's one reason location matters so much. A birdbath placed near shrubs or protective vegetation offers birds a quick escape route. They can bathe, move to cover, collect their maintenance, and reduce their exposure. A birdbath sitting alone in the middle of an open lawn may look attractive to people, but to a bird, it can feel dangerous. The safest birdbath isn't necessarily the prettiest one. It's the one that allows birds to survive. But water bathing is only part of the story, because birds have another bathing method, one that looks strange, messy, and completely backward. Instead of jumping into water, they deliberately cover themselves in dirt. If you've ever seen sparrows throwing dust over their bodies, you've probably wondered what was going on. At first glance, it looks absurd. Why would an animal trying to stay clean roll around in dirt? The answer reveals another hidden challenge birds face every day: parasites. Bird feathers are home to an entire microscopic world: feather lice, mites, tiny organisms living among the feathers. Some feed directly on feather material. Others damage feather structure over time. Left unchecked, these parasites can seriously affect a bird's health. Damaged feathers mean poorer insulation, reduced flight performance, greater energy loss, and increased stress. Water alone isn't enough to solve this problem. Many feather parasites can survive bathing. That's where dust comes in. Fine dust works deep into feather layers. It reaches places water cannot. It interferes with parasite survival. It helps dislodge unwanted hitchhikers. And it gives birds another tool in their ongoing battle against microscopic enemies. Suddenly, that dusty patch beneath a bush looks very different. What appears to us as neglected ground may actually be one of the most valuable locations in the entire yard. A place where birds perform essential health care. Nature rarely wastes energy. If birds are doing something repeatedly, there's usually an important reason, and dust bathing is no exception. But after water bathing and dust bathing comes the most important stage of all. The stage most people watch without understanding: preening. The bird settles onto a branch. The splashing is over. Now begins a slow, careful process. The beak moves through the feathers, one section at a time. Wing, back, tail, chest, neck. Nothing is rushed. Every feather receives attention. To human eyes, it looks like grooming. But something much more sophisticated is happening. Near the base of a bird's tail is a small gland. This gland produces a special oil. As the bird preens, it collects tiny amounts of this oil with its beak. Then it spreads the oil throughout its feathers, again and again, feather by feather. This oil serves several critical functions. It helps maintain flexibility. It improves water resistance. It protects feather condition. And it may even help reduce harmful microorganisms living on feather surfaces. Without regular maintenance, feathers gradually deteriorate. The bird loses efficiency. Its survival becomes harder. That simple scene at your bird bath is actually part of a complete maintenance system. Water repair, oil distribution, biologent, protection. Every step matters. Every step serves a purpose. And yet there is one final behavior that may be the strangest of all. A behavior so unusual that scientists debated its purpose for decades. Imagine seeing a robin pick up a live ant. Instead of eating it, the bird rubs the ant through its feathers, then grabs another ant, and another, again and again. Some birds go even further. They spread their wings directly over active ant colonies, allowing ants to crawl through their feathers. At first glance, it looks bizarre, almost like the bird has lost its mind. But the reality is extraordinary. Many ants produce defensive chemicals. When threatened, they release substances that predators find unpleasant. Birds have learned to exploit this chemical weapon. Instead of avoiding it, they use it. The ants become living tools, chemical applicators, natural parasite fighters. By triggering the ants' defenses and applying those chemicals to their feathers, birds may reduce parasite populations in ways that water and dust alone cannot achieve. Think about how remarkable that is. A wild bird identifying useful ants, handling them carefully, using their chemistry, and applying it exactly where needed. This isn't random behavior. It's a highly specialized survival strategy, one developed over countless generations, one that still happens in backyards around the world. Most people never notice. Others see it and assume something is wrong. But what they're actually witnessing is one of nature's most fascinating examples of animal problem solving. And that brings us back to the bird bath, that simple basin of water sitting quietly in your yard. What seems like decoration is actually something much more important. It's a maintenance station, a survival tool, a place where birds repair the equipment they rely on every moment of every day. Because unlike us, birds don't own backup wings. They don't have spare feathers waiting in a closet. The feathers they have are the feathers they must trust with their lives. Every migration, every escape from a predator, every cold winter night, every storm, everything depends on those feathers functioning perfectly. So the next time you see a robin splashing water everywhere, pause for a moment, look beyond the surface. You're not watching a bird take a bath. You're watching an ancient survival ritual, a carefully evolved maintenance routine refined over millions of years, a process involving engineering, chemistry, instinct, and survival, all unfolding in a few inches of water. And once you understand that, you'll never see a bird bath the same way again. Tell us in the comments, do you have a bird bath in your yard? Which birds use it the most? And have you ever noticed any of these fascinating behaviors? If you enjoyed this mystery from the hidden world of backyard birds, subscribe to Backyard Bird Mysteries, leave a like, and join us for more incredible secrets happening right outside your window. Until next time, keep watching closely. Nature always has another mystery waiting to be discovered.